Well, folks, we made it. Joker Folie et Deux is in theaters, and I apologize for that horrible pronunciation of that French term. I don't know why it's not called something else that we can pronounce. But either way, this is my review for Joker Folie à Deux. I've been struggling to put together all my thoughts on the movie until I can finally get it out here. And I have a bunch of mixed feelings because, this movie is a direct sequel to Joker from 2019, but also completely different in a plethora of ways. Like, tonally, it shifts from the same to completely different. It's the first one was like a character study about this man who is going through the world as the little guy. He's like, nobody notices him, and society's just beating him down, beating him down, beating him down until he snaps. And that's, relatable to an extent. I mean, I don't think people, the killing part, no, but again, it's called the Joker. That was kind of like this big, deep thing about it where it was like not your normal comic book based movie, because it's not at all. So this, though, is kind of that, but like it has 10 musical numbers mixed in for some weird reason. The weird reason being that Lady Gaga was casted. I don't know. That's what's kind of throwing me off, because like I liked some of the stuff that was done in the movie, but some of the stuff didn't mix with the music. A lot of the stuff didn't mix with the music. It's really, really strange. Like when we get to story elements, I'll explain more on that, but it was weird. I came out of it like my head was in a pretzel. I saw it with a friend. He very eloquently said that his head was in a pretzel after a movie. Usually it's not a good thing unless it's supposed to make you think, and maybe it was, but I don't know. It feels like the filmmakers, the director, whoever else threw a bunch of stuff into some pot and just started mixing it all together. Like it was really, really weird. And I can't even say if it was good or bad. It was both. Like I don't. That's how puzzling it is to describe, to review this movie, because like I don't know where. As I talk about it more, I'll probably figure out my final like thoughts of it. I mean, they'll come together more over the days and weeks since I've seen it. I don't know if I'll see it again. Maybe I should, just to pick up on a few things, but I don't know. My overall thoughts though are like I didn't hate it, but it's not. It's also not like it's not good. It's not great, but it does not. I don't think the vitriol it's getting online and saying it's worse than Madam Web and Morbius. I don't think that's really true at all. Those are badly made movies with badly made everything about them. This isn't a badly made film. It looks really good. It's shot really well. The set pieces are cool. The acting's really good. It's just a lot of it. A lot of the stuff doesn't gel together quite as well as you'd think, and it kind of jumps away from what this was said in this movie. Like, this movie has a message of some sort about society that kind of goes out the window in various ways. Sort of, kind of. I don't know. It's really racking my brain about this. So as we dive deeper, we'll talk about more. First, I want to credit the performances in the movie. I think all the actors gave it their all. There really wasn't a performance I didn't like. Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur / Joker brought it again as the same psychotic, crazy, sad person he was in the first movie. But like the plot of this, or the point of this, I guess, is like they're trying to get him to admit that he's like has multiple personalities inside his head, where he's Arthur 1 second and he blacks out and Joker takes over, like some sort of weird thing that in the trial he has for when he killed Murray on the show at the end of the first one, he can plead insanity. And like that's a cool idea if like it was really focused on his inner struggle, if this was actually like a thing. Like if it turned into some sort of weird Fight Club Joker mix, that would have been cool. But they didn't really do that. It's kind of like they say it happens, they say it's happening, and then they kind of drop it, because like there's one scene in the court that I'm pretty sure was real, because again, we established in this universe that he can make up stuff. Like a lot of the Zazie Beetz stuff from the first one was made up in his head. So, and they didn't really give us a good transition into what's real and what's not. So I don't know, but I'm guessing this one scene was real, where he has a lawyer who fires her, played by Catherine Keener. So already I'm thinking they're messing with our heads because she was in Get Out, Teacups, all that. But in this one scene in the courthouse where he's Joker, he's now representing himself as his own lawyer. He talks in this very southern drawl type thing, and it's really, really good. And he's the guy, the little person from the first movie, the one that he didn't kill, his friend from the clown place or whatever they work, was on the bench. He was kind of questioning him about stuff. That was really, really good. He was really good in that scene. The little person was really good in that scene. Gary Puddles, whose real name I don't know, but They were both really good in that scene. I'm sitting there thinking, like, this is the good stuff. If it went like up from there in terms of story and performances and all that, then we're talking about a different movie right now. And then you got the Lady Gaga element playing Harley Quinn or Lee. She is not playing any version of Harley Quinn that's ever existed. In like you watch Margot Robbie and you watch her, they are not the same. But I asked myself, could Margot Robbie not have done this? She could have, and better probably, but I guess they wanted the musical numbers, hence you hire a singer slash actress. And I'm not taking anything away from Lady Gaga's acting ability. She was really good in The Star Is Born, and she's obviously a great singer, so I'm fine with her being in this. Her purpose, I think a lot of her story arc got cut or something, because it seems like there was something missing. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but like she exists to fuel the side of Arthur that is the Joker, because she's a big fan of him, and we think she's also crazy, but we find out halfway through the movie that she committed herself to Arkham. She's not really crazy. She's a rich girl who has a psychology degree or something, and they say that, and then Joker confronts her about it, and then they kind of just start singing. It's like a lot of the serious moments happen, and then as soon as a conclusion is about to be drawn, they start singing. Like a lot of this stuff doesn't get resolved, so it's like weird that Lee is this element. I'm thinking, like, is she not real? Is Arthur imagining this so he can have some sort of outlet to be the Joker with? Because like that would have been cool if they flipped down his head, but that's kind of what happened in the first one. So like, was the thinking he wasn't there? Either way, she was good as what she was doing. I questioned her point in the movie. Like, was the singing part of it Arthur's delusion? The Folie Deux title says that that term means a mutual delusion between two people, and I guess that's supposed to be like with all the stage stuff and like the dream sequences with Arthur and Harley singing and dancing. They do a Sonny and Cher thing. It was really strange. So I'm questioning what it was, but either way, her performance was good. I want to shout out Brendan Gleeson, who played a really great asshole guard in Arkham to Arthur. He's really good. Catherine Keener's great. The judge, again, I didn't get his name, but he was very good. The inmates they focused on a few times were also very good. Like, again, there's nothing production-wise about the movie that's bad. I just question the story about it and how it's like put together. That's my biggest thing about it. And we'll talk about it more when I get into the story. But like acting-wise, good stuff. Like they're all great actors, so they delivered what they did. So yeah. And again, Joaquin Phoenix, he's great at what he's doing as this Joker. I kind of touched on it in my opening, but the story, again, is probably the biggest thing I have the problem with, because it feels like in the beginning, the first like 30 minutes kind of tell us what it's about. There's a really good scene where he's being interviewed inside Arkham by Steve Coogan, who's playing some sort of TV journalist guy who has like an inside scoop with Arthur getting the interview, his first interview since killing Murray Franklin, Robert De Niro from the first one. So that's really good, because he's like, why are you focusing on Arthur's like, why are you focusing on my past? Ask me about what I am now, so I can show people that I'm not the monster they think I am. And that's kind of like what he was told to say by the lawyer and the doctor that tried to convince him to be the guy that says he's insane by the fact that he has two personalities in his head. Like that, again, that's kind of the story they set up for us, but never really flesh out. Like, again, and when he meets Harley, that kind of whole thing stops. Like, I understand if she was the one that was pushing for him to be the Joker part, and that wins out. But I was not really feeling what was pulling the Arthur side, because he has nobody else in life. Like, I mean, the lawyer, but like, she was the reason. She was the person asking him to try to say this so that he avoids the death penalty. Because that's what Harvey Dent, who's in this movie, is accusing him of. Like, he's trying to win the case, and the penalty would be the death penalty, the rule against his favor to kill him. But if he pleads insanity, then it wouldn't be, I guess. He would just stay in Arkham the rest of his life. I don't know. The point being that the story, the main plot, kind of gets lost in the music and the love stuff, and it felt like they were trying to say something else and do something else, to say something and do something at the same time that didn't mix. So I question what the actual main through line of the movie is, because I don't know what it is. Like, I can't really describe to you what the plot is. Like, it goes from he's trying to plead insane. He meets Harley. They start singing, and like she leaves like a day after meeting him, because again, like I said, she committed herself, that we find out. Then she visits him in prison, tells him she's pregnant, that she bought his old apartment, and that they're gonna live. They're gonna build a mountain, is what she says, like her whole mantra of this. And I thinking about it, like, is she just trying to use Joker to be famous herself? Because she's not. I don't know. If that was the point, I didn't feel it. Like that was not what I thought she was doing. I just thought she was also crazy, but like not. I don't know. Again, it's very very muddled, so I don't really know what was going on. So and then like the ending is kind of weird. It's like there's a part after the courtroom scene where he's like full Joker. It's the most Jokerish scene in the movie. He goes back to Arkham, and while he was on this rant in the courtroom, he bashes the guards in Arkham. So when he gets back to Arkham, well, they beat the crap out of him, and they throw him in the shower, and they show him being thrown into his cell again, like to wash the makeup off. It's implied that something else happened, like some sort of like physical abuse for sure. We see them punching him and throwing him to walls, but like it kind of implies like some sort of sexual abuse. Like I don't know if that happened. Are we supposed to just think that? I mean, that's kind of where my head went. Like it's very heavily implied. They throw him in the showers, and they're prison guards. He's a weak man, so I don't know. So, but then he gets thrown in the hole again in the cell, and then one of the inmates is trying to defend him because he was like a friendly guy, and the guards kill him off screen. So like, was that because like the next scene after that is that Arthur essentially gives up being the Joker. He says, "I was never the Joker. I was always just a man who lost my head one day," and like that's kind of what starts the downturn in this movie. So like the struggle, but like I don't understand what was the inciting incident that made him choose Arthur over Joker. I don't understand. Was it the fact that he got somebody innocent person killed? Because if that's the case, he killed 6 people. Like I don't. It's really weird that they decided to do this. And this I'm going to spoiler territory or full spoilers. Like I'll put a spoiler warning in the beginning. But I don't understand. Like this was weird that they decided to do this. So I question. Not only like what did they write that like what is the scene, what is the moment that he turns to Arthur officially, because he's dressed as Joker still, but he just admits defeat to the jury. He just completely gives he doesn't have any other defense. That he tells a knock knock joke. It's a sad one. It's like knock knock, who's there? Arthur Fleck. Arthur Fleck who? Arthur Fleck's nobody. Something like that. I don't know. Something sad, depressing, whatever. And like a minute after that happens, the courtroom blows up. Like, and that's the rest of the movie. So I mean, I'll get deeper into spoilers in a sec, but like, again, I question what the actual story, like what the story is here. I don't know. It was really really confusing. Okay, I can't do this next part without going full spoiler. So full spoiler warning: if you've not seen the movie, go out and see it and come back. I'm just gonna say what happens. Like I can't not talk about it. Like I'm not to the point in my reviewing career where I could do non-spoiler things. I would just blow it in every take. So I'm just going to do it now. So full spoilers ahead. 3, 2, 1. All right. So Joker dies at the end. He I should say Arthur dies at the end. I don't know, because I'm starting to think the point is something else. But like, again, I'm not upset that he died. It's just the way it happens is very abrupt. So I said before, so when he gives in, where he commits to being Arthur instead of the Joker now in the courtroom in the end. As soon as that, like after that happens, and the jury finds him guilty on all charges, the courtroom gets blown up by a car bomb. We don't know who did it. We assume it's one of the many support crazy people that inspired him in the first one, or that were inspired by him from the first one, what he did, and that's fine. They don't actually say it. We're just supposed to assume that. Whatever. So then Arthur is he gets blown up, but he wakes up in the rubble. A lot of people are dead. Harvey Dent, of course, has blood and cuts on this side of his face. So obviously Two-Face, whatever. So Arthur crawls out. He's like walking through the rubble, and then a guy dressed as like honestly a pretty convincing Joker. It looked kind of cooler than actual Arthur looks. He finds him, he throws him into a car, and they start driving away. And this Gotham is supposed to be basically, it's New York, New Jersey adjacent. So it looked like they drive through the Lincoln Tunnel, because they eventually are in traffic, and Arthur busts out of the car. He leaves. The guys try to chase him, but he loses them and whatever. And then eventually Arthur is walking by those stairs that he dances down in the first one. And when back in the trial, when Arthur admits defeat, Lee leaves. So when he goes back to these stairs, he finds her there. He goes up, he talks to her, he's like, I'm free. Somebody blew up the courthouse. We can go live our life or whatever. So now he's kind of going back on his word, and she calls him out on his shit. She's like, well, you said the Joker, it doesn't exist, so why would I don't want you anymore, because I was in love with the Joker and not Arthur. And I guess that was kind of the point, because now she's dressed in what we're to call full Harley Quinn-esque thing. She has paint on and whatever. And and then she basically just dumps him. She leaves. The cops come and they re-arrest him. And then he's back in Arkham. He's watching some sort of a Pepe Le Pew Looney Tunes cartoon. And one of the guards says he has a visitor. So as he's walking to the visitor, another inmate comes up behind him, tells him a joke, and ends up shivving him in the stomach a bunch of times. So he gets killed. Then he goes through a bunch of he starts singing again, of course, but like in a Joker fantasy that wasn't finished before. He sings more, and then he finally just dies. I have no problem with him dying. I have a problem with how it happens, because Harley, throughout the whole movie, the term "blow one's brains out" is kind of a motif in the movie. Like, the interviewer that's in the prison asks him, "Why did you blow Murray Franklin's brains out?" And then Harley's like, "At what point did you?" Harley says, "When I was watching you on Murray Franklin, I was just thinking to myself, man, I hope he blows his brains out." And then he did. And then in one of the singing fantasies where he's in the courtroom, he kills a bunch of the jury, kills the judge. It ends with Joker blowing his brains out. The first time he sees Harley, she gives him one of these. She's like, with her fingers. But the motif of blowing someone's head off is prevalent here. So when he just dies getting stabbed, it's weird. So like, what I think should happen is when he got to the stairs and she dumps him, she should have just shot him in the head. That would have made a lot more sense, because he would have fallen down the stairs that he danced down the first one, like the confidence stairs, we'll call them, into the police, and then it's over. That would have been way more effective. It would have given Harley more of a point, whereas she kind of just seems like this girl that was there, and now she's gone, she dumped him, and now we got this other random guy. And this random guy, he doesn't ever get named, I don't think, but he's been shown in the movie a few times, and after he stabs him, he has a very loud cackle. So that reads to me as like, so is the Joker being passed on to somebody else? Arthur was just like a vessel, and the Joker idea is going to live on because, Batman and stuff. Like, that's the weird thing. So I guess we're supposed to just leave left with that the Joker, like, the Joker idea is going to live on and become bigger and more prevalent into some guy or some people that are actual smart people, because this Joker he's sad. The character, the Joker exists, but the clown prince of crime thing doesn't really click with Arthur, obviously. So I don't know. I don't think it lays credence to Joker 3, especially because it's not making too much money and it's getting hammered by critics and people online. I'm sitting here thinking it's not that bad. Like I said before, they're kind of comparing it to Madame Web and Morbius. Those are horrible, horrible movies. Like on every account. This at least has, like, it looks good and it's acted well. So I don't really understand why it's being hammered that bad. I'm not even saying I liked it. I don't even know if I liked it. I really don't. I don't even know if I hated it. So I don't know where I stand. But that's how it ends. And it's abrupt. It's very abrupt. Like, he just gets killed, and it's like that. It's just, and there's no other. So, and again, I think the motif of blowing one's brains out, having a gun, whatever, that was not really paid off any sort of way. Literally, Chekhov's gun that didn't check off. That's what I said last night. I'm just thinking it's weird that they didn't do it that way. I feel like it would have been way more satisfying if he was gonna die, just for Harley to shoot him in the head and he falls down those stairs, right? Another weird little tidbit I happened to notice was at the end of the first movie, he shoots Murray Franklin in the head. Then we go to outside where there's riots, there's tear gas, everything. He's like started a movement. Then they do the Bruce Wayne's parents' death thing in the alley outside a theater. Some guy in a clown mask just caps him. Literally none of that is mentioned in this movie. That was weird. My first feeling was, okay, they have this Batman going on. They have one that James Gunn's gonna be a part of eventually. Like, he's gonna run, directed by somebody else, Andy Muschietti, I've heard. So I wonder if the people in charge were like, okay, Todd Phillips, you can have your Gotham, you can have your Arkham, you can have Harley. We'll toss you your Harley. You have Joker already, and you have Harvey Dent. That's as much as Batman lore you're gonna get, because how could a famous billionaire like Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne and a billionaire's son be so traumatized like this, and Bruce Wayne never be mentioned that he caused this? Nobody says you also caused the Waynes being killed. No TV reel in the background is like, oh, it's been 2 years since the Waynes' tragic death. No newspaper clipping says anything about it. Bruce Wayne's not in the movie. Alfred's not in the movie. Huh? I was like, that's kind of a big thing to just omit, isn't it? Because like he caused the death of two very important, an important political figure in Thomas Wayne. That was happening in the first movie, right? And they don't mention that Arthur's mom told him that he was adopted, or he's actually Thomas Wayne's son. It was so weird. Like I have to believe somebody told them, or they just forgot. I don't know how they could forget, but somebody must have told him, told the makers of this movie, you cannot use any Batman related stuff. Not his parents, not him, not anything. So even putting that in the movie at all meant nothing. So like that's what that was. I found that hilarious. I'm like, why though? Why is it not? Is it because it's not supposed to be important? It's not supposed to be about Batman because we know, well, we don't know, but we can assume that we're never going to get a Batman in this version of whatever Gotham. It's not going to be with this Joker, certainly. I think some people, like before I even saw it, I saw some people online say this is a complete betrayal of the character of the Joker. And I'm like, well, if you saw the first one, you know that this Joker isn't this Joker, or isn't that Joker, specifically that one. Because that, in the Mark Hamill Joker, definitely not the Heath Ledger Joker, it's a Joker he's sad and pathetic. And I'm like, I saw him, like, first of all, he's not smart. He's kind of just lucky. He's maybe a little witty, but not as witty as any other Joker we've seen. Like, I'm thinking, could Arthur Fleck Joker really ever fight, or even like mentally have an argument with, any competent Batman? No, he can't. Like, Batman's too smart. Batman beats him on several occasions, and he always finds a way to get out of it because he's the Joker. He's a smart guy. He's the prince of crime. Clown prince of crime. So I never expected him to be a Joker that would have been a Batman beater. A worthy adversary of Batman. He's not even a little bit. So in that way, it didn't offend me. I'm like, as a Batman fan, nothing about this offends me because it has really nothing to do with Batman. They made sure of it because they made sure to include the origin of Batman in the first movie and do not address it at all. So I didn't get that. So I mean, it's a fine movie, kind of. If you think about if you think about it for more than 10 minutes, it kind of falls apart because a lot of it doesn't make any sense. Or like the way it's put together doesn't really make any sense. There's a good movie in there. There's a good story in there somewhere that's kind of drowned out by all the singing, ironically, right? So the most I can say about it is that it's a sequel to Joker. It's got a cool French title, and it's incomplete. That's all I can say. So that was my review of Joker Folie à Deux. What did you think about it? Have you seen it? What are your twisted thoughts about it? Is your head a pretzel? My head's a pretzel. The friend I saw it with's head's a pretzel. Are we just eating pretzels? I don't know. It's really weird, but I enjoy the discussion about it. I like talking about it because movies like this are rare. And what I can say about it is that it's actually like kind of one of a kind in the sense that calling this comic book movie is very, very generous, but it is. It's got the IP in it, so it's kind of the only comic book movie that is a musical sort of, and more of a think piece about a person more than anything else. And there's no superheroics. It's whatever. But that's my review of Joker Folie à Deux. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe at the bottom, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully with a review where my head's not in a pretzel. See you next time.